I want to thank you personally from myself and from Revival Way Ministries for the impact that you've had on our life and this ministry and how God is using us to reach Generation Z. We've been blessed and graced to go into middle schools, into high schools, into colleges, to do outdoor crusades in parks, and to even host big events with other supernatural relationships to see many people brought into the kingdom of God. I believe because we've sat under your anointing and under Revival Today Ministries that we've received great impartation, and we're eternally grateful for it. The impact that you've had on our life has actually helped us to reach over 200 million people on different social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, you name it, we've reached people on it because of being able to sit under the impartation of Brother Jonathan and Sister Adalis. So we're eternally grateful for you. I believe this is just the beginning, that God has taken us up higher, and I believe God has put us on the earth for a specific time to reach this generation with the fire of revival. So thank you again for the impact that you've had on my life personally and the impact that you've had on this ministry. We genuinely could not do it without you. Thank you again, and we love you from Revival Way Ministry.
Hello everybody, I've got some exciting news. We are in the process of launching a faith-based credit union, and so we'd like to welcome you to fill out a survey that is going to be used in the application process. You can go to revivaltoday.com/credit union and fill that out. And thanks ahead of time for filling it out and being a part of this great journey in the world of finance.
This is Jonathan Shuttlesworth. The prayer that Jesus left us with was to pray for laborers to go out into the harvest field. If there's one thing this last school shooting showed us, if there was ever a time that America needed a new generation of workers in the harvest field, it's now. That's why we're raising up those ministers and workers at Revival Today Bible Institute. Our inaugural class is this September. If you've been moved recently in your spirit that I want to do something to affect my generation for eternity, this is the place to come and get trained. We start this September. You can apply today at revivaltodaybibleinstitute.com. I want you to join this army that God's raising up. The devil's not going to write the last chapter of your generation. You and many others are going to get raised up in the power of the Holy Spirit, go forth with the Word of God, and take one more run with the gospel of Jesus Christ. Will you join us? Apply today, revivaltodaybibleinstitute.com, and I'll see you this fall.
Hell to the no, to the no, 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 no. Hell no, no, to the no, no. Hell to the no, no, to the no, 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 no. Hell to the no, no, to the no.
Good morning. Welcome to Check the Market, where we check the market. How's everybody doing? Andrew, Lyric, Jason, Renee, Michael. Good morning, everybody. Bethany. Shouldn't you be in service right now? Almost. Veronica, good morning. Christophorus from Indianapolis. Wayne, good morning. Welcome, everybody. I'm going to be talking about ESG, good old ESG, and energy crisis averted. So we'll go over all of that today. Matthew, good morning to you. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Check the Market. Make sure you share the broadcast. Well, Christopher, I hope your boss isn't watching, because that would mean you just put your 2 weeks in right there. Logan, good morning. Lisa, good morning to you. Awesome. Well, welcome everybody. I'm glad you're tuned in. Let's take a look at what's going on in the world. Some crazy news.
Very interesting news.
So let's take a look at it. See what Matea found for us today.
Fox News, only 1% of Americans say climate change is the most important issue we have in the country. Go for it.
Stunning. New York Times. Do you think the climate is the most important problem facing the country? Total voters, 1%. Among Democrats, 3%. Among voters age 18 to 30,
No way.
3%.
Yeah.
This is a New
Same
York
poll had
Times
the
poll.
economy
Yeah.
at 20 and inflation
This is a big
15%.
deal.
Well,
Because the kids have been.
Why did they release it?
Good question. I think everybody's just done.
Yeah, just like stop.
Just stop it. Like, just stop it. COVID crap, now climate crap.
Yeah, just nobody wants to hear it. anymore.
Nobody wants to hear
That's
about
hilarious.
it. So,
A
but
New York Times.
it's not just the 1%, it's the 18 to 30-year-olds who are like 3%.
The majority of people polled in that poll were from New York City.
Probably.
Wow.
I thought it was funny. It made my heart very happy and warm. Next. All right, ESG funds are quietly buying oil stocks. Let's read it. Managers of environmental, social, and governance funds are starting to shift a larger portion of their assets to oil and gas producers, especially in Europe. European-based ESG equity funds have been increasing their investments in energy companies, including Shell, Repsol, Aker, ASA, and what is this?
Nesto.
Nestor. Okay. According to analysts at Bank of America Corporation, about 6% of the funds invested in Shell this year compared with none in 2021. The allocations are driven by the outperformance of fossil fuel stocks. The S&P 500 Energy Index is up 30% this year, along with optimism that the world's biggest oil and gas companies will spend more to make the transition to cleaner energy. Shell, Total Energies SE, and Equinor, ASA, are among the companies that have evaluated the suitability of European utilities for takeovers, according to people familiar with the matter. Potential targets include some of the region's largest wind and solar producers, such as
Iberdrola SA,
all those things.
Ørsted, SSE Renewables.
There you go. Continue. Little blurry.
Market cap.
Yep. Continue. The Robeco QI Emerging Conservative Equities Fund, which adheres to Article 8 of the EU's Sustainable Finance Disclosure Regulation, holds shares of carbon-intensive companies China Petroleum and Chemical Corporation and PetroChina. Managers of the 2.2 billion fund justify those holdings based on their 3-year plan to actively encourage Sinopec and PetroChina to boost their sustainability performance. If that engagement works, Robeco says it will raise its equity position in each of the companies. If not, it probably will divest. They won't divest.
So that's what they're doing. That's their game, is that they're investing in these companies to try and get them, get like a good equity position where they can influence company policy.
Crazy.
But that's not going to happen with Sinopec.
No.
It's not going to happen with any Chinese company. There's no way you're going to tell those Chinese companies what to do.
No.
Ever.
Continue. So Canadian Public Pension Plan OMERS owns Life Labs through a subsidy which is run by Anita Anand's husband, that is a sitting cabinet minister in Canada, and is receiving hundreds of millions to test at our borders, and no one is asking any questions. So Trudeau, for the basically to cover his butt and for publicity reasons, PR reasons, moved all the testing off site because this was becoming an issue.
Yeah.
But now this is becoming more and more popular, this specific aspect of it all, which is corruption, blatant corruption, just like Nancy Pelosi and everybody else down here in the States does. But this is becoming more public knowledge, and so now they're like, what do we do now? Trudeau hasn't come out with a statement or anything, but Anand could actually be dismissed for this in the near future, which would be wonderful. Next. New York City Mayor Eric Adams' influx of illegal aliens is a real burden on New York City resources.
Now
I did not expect
how Texas
this one.
feels.
Yeah, exactly. Go for it.
This is a real burden on New Yorkers as we're trying to do the right thing. We already, as I stated, we already have an overburdened shelter system. So now we're talking about, as you stated, food, clothing, school. This is going to impact our schools because we do not turn away individuals because they're undocumented. Translation services. There's just a whole host of things that this is going to produce, and that's why we need help in getting this done, and we need the right coordination to make it happen.
So
Watch the narrative shift, though.
Yeah,
It's going to shift, I guarantee.
it has to shift.
Florida and Texas are going to keep busing people up there.
And this is why he's freaking out.
Yep. But the narrative's going to shift because it's going to overwhelm the system just like it's doing in DC. And then it's going to be, oh, well, we do need to do something about it.
Yes, exactly. It's just a matter of time.
Everybody thought that that Abbott was crazy for doing that. For busing illegals from illegal aliens, undocumented. How do you say it politically correct? Undocumented migrants?
I say illegal.
Climate change migrants. Ooh. Look at that.
Don't call
We're
UN
about to
on
get
us.
a boost of like 600 viewers on YouTube just for me saying that.
No, they are illegal migrants. They're not even immigrants. They're migrants. Don't go all UN, Patrick.
Oh, Patrick.
Jeez. Continue. Yes, Renee. Renee says, didn't New York want to let illegal immigrants vote for local elections? They did, and it was struck down. Biden. Take it away.
We all have a duty right now to our economy, to our competitiveness in the world, to the young people in this nation, and to future generations. That sounds like hyperbole, but it's not. It's real.
Pause. Remember the New York Times says it's only 3% of 18 to 30-year-olds, and he's talking about young people with regards to climate change. Yeah. Read the stats, man. Continue.
And so does Congress, which, notwithstanding the leadership of the men and women that are here today, has failed in this duty. Not a single Republican in Congress stepped up to support my climate plan. Not one. So let me be clear. Climate change is an emergency. And in the coming weeks, I'm going to use the power I have as president to turn these words into formal, official government actions through the appropriate proclamations, executive orders, and regulatory power that the president possesses.
So we didn't discuss it yesterday, but with regards to the potential climate executive order on climate, that there's a national emergency, they could ration water and food, power, everything.
Could they, though?
That's what they want to do.
We'll see you in court.
Yes. The states would freak out,
Yeah,
rightfully so.
There's no way Florida would go along with it.
No.
There's no way Texas would go along with it. There's no way any Midwest state would go along with it.
And it's not even constitutionally sound if it was signed.
You can't. Let me be careful before they change the algorithm on me there. It's a hypothesis. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
It's a hypothesis for which the proof has yet to be seen. I'm saying it's a theory.
It's a theory.
So yeah.
But
I don't think that they can, because the Supreme Court doesn't do things based on theory.
No, it would be very dangerous if they did. The whole country would be going like this every single year.
Yeah, I mean, how many people are dying from this heat wave? You know, this is data points that they need to look at. From this heat wave, which, I welcome, I love it.
Yeah, I think it's great.
And from this heat wave, how many people are going to die? And then from heat waves in the past, how many people have died?
Yes.
If this is an emergency, then it should be like millions.
Millions. En masse. Not happening. Next. How it started versus how it's going. Justin Trudeau said in 2015, Canadians deserve the most transparent and open government in the world. Retweet if you agree. This year, reporters invited to Justin Trudeau's photo op, but forbidden to ask questions, warned they'll be ejected by police if they ask anyhow. The highlighted portion says that any pictures or videos are forbidden in advance. Oh, can we blow that up for me? Thank you. Forbidden in advance to ask any questions. Any shouted queries would result in police-assisted eviction from the various premises, handlers told the media. So Trudeau not only going after journalists now, but also his Bill C-11 censorship bill is coming up.
I'm glad to see he's going full dictator.
Full dictator, full commie. Why not go all the way?
And the markets are open. The Dow Jones is down 129, S&P down 6.8, and the NASDAQ is up 27. So the Dow is down because futures were looking up there for a second. Let's take a look at cryptocurrency. Down 4.88% in the past 24 hours. I knew that rally wasn't going to hold. Bitcoin 22,698, Ethereum 1499, BNB 259, XRP 35, Cardano 48, Solana 41.78, Dogecoin 6.8 cents, 6.88, Avalanche $24 for one AVAX, 2403, Shiba Inu 0.000012, down 7.47%. Stellar is down 5.81% to 11 cents. Those are just a couple of the biggest cryptocurrencies. We take a look at it here in the mornings. And that's the price change over the past 24 hours. Since crypto markets, which I love, are open 24 hours for trading. D&D Investments, good morning to you. And Michael, yes, I agree. Not sure if anyone noticed it's July, but it's always hot in July and August. It has been for a long time, yes. And at some point, you know, records are meant to be broken. So if you started record keeping in, let's say, 1911, right? I'm just picking a number, whatever. Then, yeah, records are meant to be broken. We've had the coldest winters. We've had, What about if over the next 10 years, the records that were broken this summer aren't going to be broken over the next 10 years? Then what?
Then we took action to correct the past.
Oh, okay.
To try and correct the past.
I guess.
To make sure it never happens again.
Yeah, I guess.
Nobody should have a hot, nice, lovely summer.
Matthew, good morning to you. Nikki, welcome. All right, let's take a look at some market news, see what's going on there. Biden must stop the fall in gasoline prices. I saw this article this morning in Fox Business. Biden must stop the fall in gasoline prices, set $5 gallon minimum to combat climate change. This is from a Bloomberg op-ed. Let's take a look at it. Have a good laugh. Bloomberg Opinion published a piece Wednesday calling for President Biden to increase gas prices intentionally and forever in order to hasten a transition to alternate forms of energy. The op-ed, written by columnist Eduardo Porter, called for a $5 gallon floor on gasoline prices. Porter described the policy as one bold move that would put a real dent in the emission of heat-trapping carbon dioxide that is causing such havoc with the weather. What? Although he admitted it was unlikely the president would make it. As any economist will tell him, the most efficient way to reduce fossil fuel consumption is to raise its price relative to alternatives, encouraging people and businesses to switch to cleaner sources and use less energy altogether. Have you ever seen a lithium mine, Mr. Porter? all those mines. Have you ever seen those open mines, or the mines in South Africa, and the Congo, where they send children in to mine those rare earth minerals that you need to switch to your cleaner energy? Continue. Oh, there he is. Oh, look at that. There's the German Chancellor.
I love how they've staged the
Olaf
photo
Scholz.
to make it look like Biden's leading the pack. Trudeau's just peeking over his
I know, he is.
Macron is like,
He's
don't
like not
care.
even paying attention.
I don't want to be here.
He's probably looking over at the wine table.
Where's my wife?
Biden faced backlash in June for suggesting that high energy prices are a chance to make a fundamental turn to so-called clean energy. Yes, so-called clean energy. The beauty of this moment for the president is that he wouldn't have to deploy any political capital for this to happen. Russia's invasion of Ukraine already did the trick, sending the average retail price of gasoline above $5 a gallon early June. All Biden must do is keep it from falling back. The climate would thank him. Oh yeah? Didn't know the climate can thank anybody. Continue. Porter argued that $5 a gas floor would reduce carbon emissions from cars and trucks. Despite these aspirations, Special Presidential Envoy for Climate John Kerry continues to fly on private jets, emitting over 300 metric tons of carbon since Biden became president. I wonder how much carbon. I understand that, Biden's president needs security and all of these things, right? But you not only have one Air Force One flying, you have two.
You have two.
You've got, 3 cargo planes flying overseas that take the motorcade with them, that take Secret Service. Then you got another plane that takes additional staff and
Yep.
So how much carbon is that?
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
It's less carbon to take a boat.
Yeah.
They should purchase
sailboat.
a boat.
Sail Force One.
Sail Force One.
Further, Porter called for gas tax to further decrease demand, while consistently high gas prices would encourage more drilling over the long term. Not quite the desired outcome from a climate change perspective. Imposing a tax to boost the retail price, now we're getting creative, at the pump, would eat into consumer demand without incentivizing further supply. High energy prices will eat into consumers' pocketbooks and slow the economy. What's important for the president to understand is we have no choice. Fossil fuels must become more expensive. Look at that.
Wow. Oh, you can just go and...
Joshua from the Netherlands, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, climate, David. That's right. Climate change. Winter, spring, summer, and fall. All right, next. When you ask Nancy Pelosi how she's up over 15% on her $5 million Nvidia trade in under a month, the secret ingredient is crime. She had nothing to do with those trades.
Nothing.
Just for the record. And but I don't know how her husband is even able to make trades like that. Isn't he drunk like most of the time?
No comment.
No comment?
Just when he's driving.
I don't know, that's something I heard.
It's just when he's driving.
It's just a rumor that's going around, Continue. Ninja. Amazon to buy primary healthcare provider One Medical for roughly $3.9 billion. Amazon and Apple really want to get into the healthcare game. It's pretty interesting. Continue. Let's see it. Amazon Thursday said Thursday it'll acquire One Medical for $18 a share in an all-cash deal, valuing the primary healthcare provider at roughly $3.9 billion. Neil Lindsay, Senior Vice President of Amazon Health Services, said in a statement that acquiring One Medical, Amazon hopes to reinvent the healthcare experience from how people book appointments to the experience of being seen by a physician. We see lots of opportunity to both improve the quality of the experience and give people back valuable time in their days. We love inventing to make what should be easier, and we want to be one of the companies that helps dramatically improve the healthcare experience over the next several years. Amir Dan Rubin, One Medical CEO, said in a statement that there's an immense opportunity to make healthcare experience more accessible, affordable, and even enjoyable for patients, providers, and payers. Shares of One Medical were halted in pre-market trading Following the announcement, Amazon stock rose more than 1%. Next. European Central Bank surprises markets with a larger than expected rate hike, its first in 11 years. So it looks like the days of negative rates are over in Europe. Let's see it. The European Central Bank on Thursday increased interest rates for the first time in 11 years in an attempt to cool rampant inflation in the Eurozone. The ECB, the central bank of the 19 nations that share the euro currency, surprised markets by pushing its benchmark rate up 50 basis points, bringing its deposits rate to zero. Economists had expected a smaller hike of 25 basis points. The Government Council judged that it's appropriate to take a larger first step on its policy rate normalization path than signaled at its previous meeting. The Frankfurt institution had kept rates at historic lows in negative territory since 2014 as it dealt with the region's sovereign debt crisis and the coronavirus pandemic, which just added to the debt crisis in Europe. Congratulations. The euro rose to a session high on news of more aggressive rate hike to trade at $1.02. The yield on the 10-year Italian bond also jumped on the news, extending gains after reacting to the resignation of Prime Minister Mario Draghi earlier on Thursday. So Europe raising rates too. All right, next. My parents in their 20s, let's buy this house and have 3 children. Me in my 20s. Next. Russia resumes gas flows to Europe. So there we are. Energy crisis averted. Russia resumes gas flows to Europe after fears of a total shutdown. Europe did have to make some concessions, which is crazy. I was looking through German newspapers yesterday. Not much. Little paragraph on the side.
Really?
Yeah.
Not one to be willing to admit defeat in any way.
Exactly.
Huh. Interesting.
Let's see it. The operator of Nord Stream 1, a key gas pipeline which runs from Russia to Germany, said Thursday it was in the process of resuming flows to Europe. There have been concerns across the region that there could be a complete shutdown of gas supplies via the pipeline after it was closed earlier this month for maintenance. Flows had been due to restart Thursday after the completion of the works. A spokesperson for Nord Stream confirmed to CNBC via email that the company is in the process of resuming gas transportation. It can take some hours to reach the nominated transport volumes. Data on operator Nord Stream's website showed that flows increased from 0 to 29 million kilowatt hours per hour for 0600 to 0700 Central European Time Thursday on July 10th. The last day of operations before the maintenance work began, flows were at roughly the same level, just above the 29 million mark. Flows are running at reduced volumes, however, and have been since Russia's onslaught in Ukraine, with Moscow squeezing supplies to the European region, but it's still likely to be a welcome relief to European officials who have been scrambling to find alternative suppliers to Russian gas. Germany and the EU more broadly have been dependent on Russian fossil fuels for years, and there's been a broad-based attempt to reverse this in the wake of Moscow's invasion of Ukraine. Since March, the EU has negotiated new gas deals with the United States and Azerbaijan, and has held talks with Israel and Qatar, or Qatar, however you want to say it. Speaking Wednesday, Ursula von der Leyen, one of my favorite people in the world, European Commission President, said Russia was blackmailing Europe and using energy as a weapon. Russia has repeatedly denied it is weaponizing fossil fuel supplies, and the Kremlin was not immediately available for comment when contacted by the CNBC Thursday. I like the last paragraph. What we know is that Putin has no intention of helping Europe get through the winter in terms of gas supply without difficulty. He wants a gas and energy crisis in Europe this winter, as this gives him leverage. Well, yeah, it does.
Europe kind of did that to themselves, though.
Yeah, but it's Europe has hurt themselves more with these sanctions. Germany and Russia had very close trade relationships.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of, Russia does a lot of manufacturing, and Germany manufactures a lot of manufacturing equipment. And so a lot of that has drastically slowed down. Which, so they, They hurt their own companies with all of this. And the majority of people that I talk to don't care,
Yeah.
you know.
Which is shocking.
Yeah, it's like let the Ukraine fight their own wars. Like, why do we have to get involved?
Yeah.
Next.
Good question.
Tesla grows revenue 42%, but automotive margins decline. So Tesla reported adjusted earnings of $2.27 a share. I'd be interested to see where they're trading right now. Tesla up 5.42%, trading at $7.82 a share. Automotive margins decreased from last quarter and a year ago, impacted by inflation and more competition for EV components. Let's see it. Automotive gross margin came in at 27.9%, down from 32.9% last quarter and 28.4% a year ago, impacted by inflation and more competition for battery cells and other components that go into electric vehicles. Automotive revenues made up $14.6 billion of the company's total, with $1.47 billion coming from services and other revenue, and $866 million from the company's energy segment. The company generated $344 million in automotive regulatory credits revenue in the second quarter. The company said that in its shareholder deck, that's a $10 million or 3% decline from the same period in 2021. CEO Elon Musk on an earnings call Wednesday said Tesla's new factory outside of Berlin surpassed 1,000 cars per week in June, and he expects the company's new factory in Austin, Texas to exceed 1,000 per week production milestone in the next few months. Tesla has grown its charging infrastructure more than its store and service centers, reporting 709 store and service locations for the quarter and 3,971 supercharger locations, with 36,165 total supercharger connections in the second quarter. So that's not total though. I would like to see what the total supercharger locations are in the United States. And if everybody switched to electric, if it was even possible to, other than charging your vehicle at home, if there's like for a higher percentage of people to be able to use supercharger locations. Next. U.S. jobless claims jumped to highest level since November. Initial claims for state unemployment assistance hits 251,000 versus the consensual forecast of 240,000. Can you guys pull up that tweet from Charles Payne that I sent? So Yelnik Mkwawa at Jerryark said to Charles Payne, "I'm at a loss / dumb, etc. Why would markets like higher jobless claims?" So I guess because once that hit, futures went up a little bit. They are down now. But Charles Payne said, "Pay attention. The Fed could pivot sooner rather than later." That's why you're seeing markets cheer jobless claims, because it means that the economy is cooling down, and then the Fed would decrease rates, and that there would be easy money policy again, which Wall Street loves that, because they'll make more money. Continue. This is another one that he tweeted. I like this. "There's no such thing as government funded. It's all taxpayer funded." Very true. Great job, Pacific Fiber Products. Shout out to you. Continue. "I'm gonna get so rich from Dogecoin." This claim is disputed. Last media. Is there a last article? Did I send another one, or was that it? Here we go. This is interesting. The Senate's semiconductor spending trick. How a $76 billion bill became $250 billion in a matter of minutes. Hide the children. Let's see it. So this passed on Tuesday, right? The semiconductor bill passed the House. Now it goes to the Senate, where good old Chuck Schumer's in charge. Are Republican senators conniving spendthrifts or babes in the Beltway? We lean towards the former after watching a $76 billion semiconductor subsidy bill morph within minutes on Tuesday night into a $250 billion bipartisan spendorama.
Wow.
I mean, if you're writing checks of that size, might as well write me one too. The Senate voted 64 to 34 to begin debate on its CHIPS bill, a corporate welfare vehicle providing $52 billion in grants and $24 billion in tax credits to the profitable semiconductor industry. But it turns out the bill was merely the bad news. The really bad news is that Majority Leader Chuck Schumer quickly filed a 1,054-page bipartisan amendment to pour more than twice that amount of money. And it almost seems like that was prepared ahead of time. 1,054 pages. I mean, that's
Who just
that's
comes
a
up with
ton.
that? That's crazy.
The $76 billion CHIPS version is wasteful enough since the pandemic computer chip shortage is already easing amid slowing demand and new investment in capacity, including new factories in the US. But politicians always want more, and the $250 billion version will help the US compete against China only if you believe that the key to success is a larger federal bureaucracy and more political allocation of capital. Actually, the $24 billion in tax credits to the semiconductor industry would have done the trick. That would have caused companies to come over here. Continue. The National Science Foundation will get $81 billion of it.
What?
Yes, over 5 years. That's nearly its current budget. That's nearly double its current budget. Senate Commerce Committee backgrounder says more than $20 billion of this will go for a new Directorate for Technology, Innovation and Partnerships, with the rest earmarked for vague promises to grow basic research and build the STEM workforce and create broad-based research opportunities. When politicians say partnerships, they mean big government collaborating with big business. This is an op-ed out of the Wall Street Journal, by the way.
Really?
Yes.
It's good.
So I know that people always hark on the or always,
Well, usually they're.
Yeah, usually they are,
There's a
but
lot
there
of crap.
there's some good things in the Wall Street Journal. I still like reading it. Commerce Department gets $11 billion, most of which it intends to plow into creating 20 new regional technology hubs, whatever that means, which will somehow expand U.S. innovation capacity somehow. This is spread the money around political pork. The National Institute of Standards and Technology gets some $10 billion to, among other non-urgent needs, promote competitiveness in international standards. Yes. The Energy Department will receive tens of billions for science and research on top of what it already gets. The 16 Republicans who voted to proceed aren't protesting, so presumably they were in on this game of break the filibuster and switch. This is political malpractice in addition to violating the GOP's claims to spending restraint. The GOP is making the case, and rightly so, that trillions in spending contributed to the inflation that is killing family budgets. Why give Democrats bipartisan cover on the link between inflation and spending with an election only 4 months away? Answer: they apparently don't believe their own advertising.
Wow.
Continue. The Senate floor debate could bring further surprises, and almost none of them will be good. We can't wait to see how Intel and other beneficiaries react when the politicians attach various strings in their investment decisions and corporate governance. So they're probably going to have to disclose all sorts of ESG, all sorts of stuff like that, for them to even be able to get that money. So, yeah, I mean, I understand why the CEOs of these organizations want to keep their factories in Asia if they have to deal with more red tape here than they do there.
Yeah, which is crazy.
I understand. All right. Let's take a look at some stocks to research. So I did take a look at some semiconductor stocks. Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, TSM. I like that one. So that's one of the ones I like. Currently trading around $86 a share, down from $145 at the beginning of this year. They do have a dividend around 1.69%. They are projecting growth. Growth that is above the average for the industry. And they do have some good margins. Lower debt compared to the industry. Their PE ratio is fairly low. Price to book is at 6, so that's not too bad. And the stock has declined about 28% year to date. So that could be a good buying opportunity for TSM. Now with TSM, I know that I've had this one before. There are risks because it is Taiwan based. And with China upping their rhetoric, it could potentially cause some issues if you are invested in that stock. However, they are looking at building more factories in other places other than Taiwan. So that's a good one. TSM. And then Broadcom Inc. I've never really looked at this one before, but AVGO is the ticker symbol. Broadcom. So they create semiconductors and chips more for like wireless connectivity, things like that, instead of, the automotive industry and other things. So it's more for like the internet. But there's going to be more and more of that as we become more wireless. I mean, the most new cars you buy now have internet connectivity where you can have Wi-Fi while you're driving. So AVGO and TSM. AVGO is also at 3.2% dividend yield. They are currently trading around $511 a share, down from $677 at the beginning of this year. So they have seen a drop there. Dividend yield is pretty good at 3.2%. I kind of like that. They are projecting some great growth over the year. Their margins are looking pretty good compared to the rest of the industry. Price to earnings is in line with TSM as well, right around 13 for PE. Their debt is fairly high for AVGO. So their debt is fairly high. Almost double the industry average, which is huge. But it is a huge company, and I think they wouldn't have a big problem in servicing their debt. Price to book is also higher compared to others, but it is one that is getting a lot of attention. AVGO, Broadcom. And yes, Patrick, I did take a look at Xenog again. I did see that they filed some paperwork with the Israeli government for more exploration permits, so I like that. They're still trading around 25 cents, I believe, 25 cents, and they have seen some spikes. So last time that I looked at it in October, it was fairly cheap, and if you did trade it, at one point it went up to 38 cents, I believe, from like 10, right around 10 in October of last year. So that's tripling your money right there. So that's pretty good. But they're still in the exploration phase. They haven't found anything. They're taking a look at 66,000 acres in Megiddo in Israel, and they're searching for oil there, oil, natural gas. So I am keeping I'm going to keep an eye on them to see what's going on. That's the last news that they posted, is that they filed for more permits. I believe that was in May of this year. So we'll see what happens there. It would be crazy if they did find oil in Megiddo, like a ton.
It would be.
Be pretty cool. And this company would be at the forefront of it. They're trading at right around 25 cents, I believe. Let me take a look here. ZNOG, Zion Oil and Gas. See where they're at. 25 cents, yes. 25.21 is what they're trading at today. If you are interested in that stock, that is a over-the-counter stock, so it's not something that you can buy on Robinhood or Cash App or any of those. You would have to buy it on like a broker website, such as TD Ameritrade, Fidelity, Schwab, etc. So yeah, if you're interested in that one, take a look at it. I mean, if they find oil, that company could do very well. Right now, it's trading at 25 cents. So if you have $50 that you want to throw in,
why not?
Why not? Awesome. And if you'd like to invest in Revival today, we'll give you an opportunity to do that now. Here are the ways that you can do that. revivalday.com/give. #donate, text to give, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. We also accept cryptocurrencies if you'd like to donate by cryptocurrency. Scan that QR code or call our office 412-446-2332. And checks by mail, Revival Today, P.O. Box 7, Prosperity, Pennsylvania, 15329. Let's do the F.A. Hayek book again. The Road to Serfdom by F.A. Hayek, Milton Friedman. It's a book on economics. What happens if, basically what happens if you give up too much control to the government. So it's interesting how he wrote that all those years ago, and you see some of the things coming true now. So take a look at that book. If you like that book, we'll send that to you as a thank you for investing in Revival today. And make it out for our services. 40 Days of Glory still going on. Night 31 today, right? I think yesterday was night 30.
Yes.
So night 31 today at 7 p.m. here at Revival Today Church. If you're anywhere within we've got a couple hours, 5-6 hour driving radius, get in your car, get here, and meetings have been powerful. All right. I think that's it for today.
That's it. Cool.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Make sure that you share and like the broadcast. Hit that subscribe button.
You covered it all.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow. No check the market tomorrow.
No check the market tomorrow.
Because I got the kiddos.
Okay.
So.
All right. No check the market tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
We'll see you all next week. Have a great weekend. And I'll have some Jim Cramer stock advice for you next week. All right. See ya.